Hello guys, my name is Kai and this is part of my vlog where we talk about KUGI and blank. KUGI means hard work and we know that it takes more than hard work to be able to move forward. And my first guest is none other than MEL. And so we are now in Antigua. We are fixing to go to dinner, but thought to do this small segment just to ask her a few questions and what it takes to get to where she is today. So I'm going to give her a background. She grew up in our island of Cebu and she's always been into sales and clothes. You know, for the most part, we like to dream of it as kids, to do the things we love as kids and then to do them as adults as well. That's very hard to make that happen, but she was able to do so, and it aligned in her vision where she would do it in a nice city, which is New York City. So I wanted to ask MEL first a question. So that's the overarching conversation is, how do you live your dream as a child into adulthood? And I'm looking at my phone to make sure the images are great. So don't mind me. And this is all unscripted. She doesn't know the questions that I'm going to ask her.
I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, I like to do
I
things
do not like
impromptu.
surprises.
Okay. So
I'm not the most spontaneous person.
And I am. So tell us about how you started, like what got you into clothes, like when you were young.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is Mel. And so, first question.
Yeah, that's my first question.
And what got me into clothes?
Yeah, okay ra kadili mag-shout my love. Okay, nara may mic.
Sorry.
Conversation with her. Like, ani na siya. This is how she is when she gets excited.
Yeah, when I get excited,
She's like,
my
go.
volume goes up. Okay, so what got me into clothes? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know how it started or what really got me into liking clothes. I think it just started in college when I looked forward to, because we have uniforms back in the Philippines. In college, we had uniforms, but we get wash days. Wash days is Wednesdays, and that's when we are permitted or allowed to wear regular clothes. And so I think that's when it started. Like, I always looked forward to Wednesdays because then I can wear whatever I want. And I think that was it.
Yeah, but you also, when you were a kid, right, you started, I think it may not have started with clothes, but you started like selling stuff.
Okay,
as a child.
I thought the question was like how I got into clothes.
Well, that's part of it too, but tell them about the background, like how you got into sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because this is essentially sales marketing, right? Around that purview.
Yes, like influencing is technically
marketing sales.
And sales. And so how I got into sales. As a child, I've always been fascinated with, my favorite game as a child was playing cashier or having my own grocery. So I would have my cousins, I would play with my cousins and we'd like have different items in the store and I'd like use a toy gun to like gun the items.
You mean to label?
No. Like when we're checking out, right?
Okay.
I'd
pretend.
imitate.
Yeah.
I'd imitate how it is like in actual stores where cashiers would like use that laser thing to like check out items. And that's always been fun for me. And then it kind of went from 0 to 100 when every summer I would ask my mom to buy bags of candies and then I would sell them to my cousins. And so it was really fun for me, like getting that sale, you know, like getting handed money. And then it was like, and then seeing all of my inventory, all of my candies getting sold out. That was kind of very fun for me as a kid. And then it kind of just, again, went from 0 to 100 when, as I got older, college, that's when I started selling clothes just to get, I had allowance, but I liked selling clothes just to add to the money I had, you know?
To buy more clothes.
So
I guess just from that, what does like clothing and dressing up, what does that mean for you? Because it sounds like, well, you have that experience, you got, you know, the good feeling of getting a sale, putting things together, getting a sale, but then you also like dressing up. So what does that mean for you?
So dressing up is really is my form of expression, is my form of art. So depends on how I feel or how stressed I am or how stressful a situation can be. Like in whatever setting, right? Like for example, at work, I used to work pharmaceutical sales back in the Philippines. And so if there's a day that I know I would be presenting to like KOLs, like a group of KOLs. And I know that
KOL is what?
Key opinion leaders, the higher ups, that situation can get really stressful. And so the more stressed out I am, the more I dress up. That's how I cope. And that's how it's always been.
I see that. I think, from sounding, it sounds like it does give you confidence. And it allows you to better present whatever product you're trying to show.
Because, I know we say this a lot, like don't judge the book by its cover, but to be perfectly honest, in the world that we're living in, it's like first impressions always last.
Yeah.
And so if I am dressed to the nines, the moment I step into that room, I will have their attention.
Yeah, I agree with that. If there's an opportunity for you to put your best foot forward, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So what do you say about, and this is just our experience too, like when we started with social media, we did get judged, Are you being vain? So I think it's important to address, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? Because when we first started, that's the things that we keep on hearing, like I'm going to just say it first.
Vanity.
Pathetic, things like that. And obviously we did not let that hinder us to move forward. But what do you think of that word and how it helped us to get to where we are today?
I feel like just for me personally, I paid no attention.
Good for her.
And this is how I always think. Anytime a person says something about me or anyone else, I always think of it as nothing against me. It is more about them and their beliefs and what makes them feel better at the moment.
No.
As long as I'm not doing anything to hurt anyone or causing anyone pain, then I should be fine. Like, call me vain, however much you want. To me, it's my form of expression. What I'm doing right now may be vain to some, but it can be helpful to others.
Correct. Yes. There's always it's always a double-edged sword.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is Kai. If you're new here, so go ahead and subscribe, and also follow and subscribe to our guest for today. And in this series, we're going to talk about people who inspired me to move forward. Like I said, this is a segment about KUGI, hard work, and whatever that. Stay tuned.
Like for us, although we hear that often, even to this day, you just respect other people's opinion, that's what they think, that it is vanity. But for us, I think, we look at it as just dressing well, and making sure you're
sharing
information. Yeah.
Because when I started out, and even, going back to, if I may just share,
sure.
How this all turned into what it is now. So I mentioned earlier that in college, I used to sell clothes in college just to get extra money to buy more clothes. And so after college, I actually started my own clothing store. I had a clothing online store, and then I had an actual physical store.
I'm just going to interject. That is not the course or the degree she's trying to get. She didn't go through entrepreneurship, marketing.
No marketing, no business.
It was completely different.
No. So I went to nursing school, and while I was in nursing school, I was selling clothes on the side. And then after I graduated nursing school, I passed my licensure exam. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try and pursue my side hustle, because at the time it was kind of picking up.
Yeah.
So the business was kind of picking up. And so I did the online store, and then I started a physical store. And then I did that for 9-10 years until I moved here. How I marketed it was me putting clothes together. And then my customers would buy the whole set. How I style the whole outfit, they would buy the whole set. And so to me, I was like, okay, I guess they like my style and how I style clothing. That was a high for me. I kept doing it, and then here we are. Fast forward to today, here we are.
Thank you, my love. So just to close this talk, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more, but what do you think has to be paired with hard work? KUGI and blank to get to...
KUGI and gratitude.
Gratitude? Okay.
KUGI and gratitude.
Okay, tell us about that. What do you think? That's such a surprise for me.
Gratitude.
Yeah, because it's more of giving out. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
You're giving credit to others. Gratitude is giving credit to others in a way, you're grateful. But that's just something I would have thought, something like an answer like grit, silencing the noise, all the distractions. But I'm so surprised that you answered gratitude. I didn't know of this, so go ahead.
It's just being you work so hard, but until when do you say I've done enough? And so to me, and I always say this, I'm always just so grateful, for every opportunity. If I get rejected, for example, let's say a brand deal, then I'm still grateful because they reached out to me. Like out of the thousands of influencers, I'm still grateful. The wins and the losses, I'm always grateful, you know? Like I would not get to where I am now if I didn't have that gratitude, the heart of gratitude. I don't know. Yeah, you can drown out the noise, but still be grateful. The noise is
always going to be there.
Is always going to be there.
There you have it,
but
my friends.
So KUGI and gratitude. Just be grateful.
And
everything.
And that's just very telling of you. Someone who was called vain is actually very grateful.
Yeah. Thank you for calling me vain.
It just shows
we somehow got somewhere.
Yeah, but it shows the kind of character that Mel has. So thank you so much for watching this short interview, and there'll be more.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
All right, girl.
I am the very first guest.
So of course. All right.
Honored.
Peace.
All right.
Peace and love.
Soon.
See you. Bye.